really good job by our pitcher, Caleb Bolden. We were hoping to get 4, maybe 5 out of him and then kind of go from there. But he kind of got it rolling, gave him the 6th and 7th, and got a couple big double play balls. I think one with runner at first and third and one out. And I think the other one maybe first and second and one out. And got himself out of a couple of jams by locating a couple of sinkers type fastballs and, gave him an opportunity to stay in the game, kept his pitch count down a little bit. And it was good to see Cody come in and pitch after, not pitching for a while, recovering from Tommy John, had a good start to the season, had some soreness, and looks like he's on his way back, and we could definitely use him. So that was really good to see. Played really good defense, which is really something that we needed. Offense on offensive end, we did just enough. I threw a lot of guys at us that everything was slow. I'm maybe not used to seeing it too much, but timing wasn't great. But did a good job driving in some runs when we had the opportunity.
How good was it to have such a nice, clean game after last night?
Who knows? I mean, baseball, it's just kind of the way it works sometimes. Sometimes you score too many runs the day before, and next day you don't score. And as a coach, you see it. You see it a lot. I think about a couple of games already this year. We punched in a bunch of runs, and the next day we can't buy a big hit. So it's just such a mental game. But I just think there's a lot of concentration. I think it starts that the pitcher's throwing a lot of strikes, and guys are into it. The weather was good. They weren't cold, and the wind wasn't blowing real hard. And I mean, it was tough fielding the ball last night.
How big was it to get a nice start like that when you had to throw a lot of guys? You obviously have a quick turnaround for Auburn.
Well, when you're playing a Wednesday game and, you're within 48 hours almost of playing a series on the weekend, it's nice to have a guy go out and give you some quality innings so you don't have to go through 5 or 6 guys and, then have to make a decision. You want to recycle somebody or somebody that you need, on the weekend. It takes a lot of pressure off the coaching staff, number one, and our pitching staff.
He threw 94 pitches today. Is he you could bring back on Sunday? Or?
No, we won't put him on the roster this weekend. Probably just let him get ready for next Tuesday. And we've been wanting a guy to do that. It's kind of what you want. Doesn't mean he's going to pitch the next Tuesday and the next Tuesday. It'll work out well this weekend, and he hasn't thrown on the weekend much anyway, so he can gain some experience that way for us.
How would you describe this tear, I guess, Kirsten has been on a 14-game hitting streak, and what was Andrew's hitting 4 something, or what was it?
39.
Andrew figured it out. He's smart with that stuff.
I really wouldn't call it a tear because of what I've seen him do. He's just a good hitter, and if you make a mistake, you leave it in the zone a little bit, he usually doesn't miss it, and he hits it hard somewhere. And he's just a good hitter because he can drive the ball to left field, and just like today, he can turn on a ball. Last night he hit one down the right field line. He also got a big hit the other way between the 5 and 6 hole last night. He just he stays over the ball, and he's just a quality hitter. So, sometimes maybe to go on a little bit of a streak like this, you have to have a little bit of luck, but there's just a lot of skill involved there.
With Bolton in his 2 starts, 13 scoreless innings, he's a guy that you didn't get until after the draft. I mean, how big was that getting him there?
It was real big. He's a guy that we had him in 2 or 3 times on unofficial visits, and visited with him and showed him around, and his velocity was 86, 87. We needed to see a little bit more, and then in May of his senior year, here it came, and we kind of had more of an idea where we were at with guys coming back and who was going to sign, and kind of opened up a spot that where we made him an offer there late May, early June, and he's thinking about going to junior college, thinking about signing, and I think he made a good decision coming to school.
As far as Kirstad's last one, how far does that rank with some of the ones you've seen?
Yeah, that's one of the better ones. That's for sure. There's no doubter. It was a light wind, kind of blown across, and I don't think the wind hurt it at all. Might have even helped it. But right when it left the bat, I mean, my comment, I forget who said, I said that one's not coming back. That was just so obvious being on the field when it left, the sound. He got extension. it just it really exploded off his bat. Probably hit it 420 feet would be my guess, and exit velocity was pretty high, I would say, as well.
Isaiah, how did his little?
It went good. Yeah, it went good the other day. He'll be back on the roster. As of right now, I don't think he'll be starting. I don't know if there's enough pitches ready there, but we'll try to figure all that out tomorrow and go from there. One of the things talking about the weekend, we got to try to figure out how to handle the weather on Friday. I haven't looked at it today, but if it hasn't changed, it's going to be interesting.
When did Isaiah throw his bullpen? Was it yesterday?
Monday. Yeah, I think it was Monday.
Murphy's still your second day starter, and then just go from there.
Yeah, that's the way I see it right now. If we end up having to play a doubleheader, we'll figure all that out.
Yeah, obviously, that's a pretty nice pitching matchup in Game 1. What's your anticipation for that first game?
I think it'll be one of many really good SEC pitching matchups. There's so many good pitchers in the league this year. I thought last Thursday, the first game of the series at Ole Miss, was a great matchup, and hitters did a pretty good job. And now, Casey Mize is about as good as it gets. He's pretty special. He's having a great year. Nobody's really doing much with him. So, that'll be the first challenge. And then the other challenge is just getting out those hitters, because they've been swinging the bat pretty well this year.
How do you feel like Blaine's pitched this year, and what's your anticipation for him Friday?
I think Blaine's been really solid, and he's been really good a few days. His stuff's been great, but even on days when it's just okay, the more mature, older Blaine Knight, experienced guy, knows how to get through some innings, and he seems to get out of jams. He doesn't get rattled. He knows how to pitch, and pitching's not all about velocity. It's about location and having some guts out there and finding a way. And he's done a pretty good job.
How do you approach a guy like Mize who hadn't walked anybody in a month, and just what he does?
He makes it tough for you because you'd like to get his pitch count up and get him out of the game in the seventh inning. But at the same time, you go up there and swing. Maybe your best chance to hit him is one of the first couple of pitches. So, we'll just go in there and attack as best we can and see what's going on. If he's just filling it up like they say he's been doing, and what we've seen through video mostly, we'll just have to be aggressive. We don't want to get behind in the count. Give him even more advantage.
You guys are 5-4. I think they're 4-5. I mean, it looks like it's going to be pretty bunched all year. Just kind of how do you feel about Auburn and the standings and everything?
Well, Auburn's one of the top teams, obviously, in the country, and they've won 22, 25 games somewhere in there, and they've got a guy that's gotten them off to a great start every weekend, and in Mize, so they're hitting a lot more home runs than they have in the past. Team batting average is higher than it's been in the past. Seem to be fielding the ball pretty good. They didn't have a great defensive weekend against Missouri. It cost them a game, but they're like everybody else in this league. If you make mistakes, they're going to beat you. If you play solid baseball, it's probably going to go down to the wire. So, our focus is just really for us just to play good baseball and give ourselves a chance.
Blaine had a rough outing there last year.
Yeah, he did.
And how much do you think that might drive him this week?
Well, I think everything's driving him this year, to be honest with you. He remembers that. They got him early, man. They swung, and they made contact, and they didn't mess around. And but he's developed another pitch or two where he's got a little more in there, where he's not going to just feature a couple. He's got 4. So, we'll adjust to that. I'm sure they'll try to attack him again. I think what drives him is every time he gets the ball, he's facing somebody's number one pitcher, and it's a big game. So, a little bit of that, what they did to him last year, but more the fact that he knows that we need him to give us some solid innings to start the series.
Just off of Evan Lee's last couple of games, do you look to try and find a spot for him somewhere? Or?
Yeah, the key for Evan, I've always thought he was a really good hitter, is just finding him a position. Obviously he's a pitcher, but, he hadn't played much first, and, we've got 3 solid outfielders, and, defensively he's not as good as they are right now. And, you know, Bonnie's been our DH. It's kind of, you know, it's just one of those things. You got to mix and match, and you know, either him or Bonfield will come off the bench and pinch hit, or you know, one of them will start, and we'll go from there.